G'day guys, welcome back. I'm going to make another coaster mold. Now the other one I did, hopefully you guys saw it, it's this guy and I'm really happy with it. I love it. I just think it's a little bit too big. I started off making them, the coasters, 11.5 centimeters by 11.5 centimeters. Some of them kind of got a bit more oblong and it's like 12 centimeters across. And it's quite deep. It's probably about 8 mils deep, you know, by the time I put a flood coat on. So I've gone again, I've made, this is how I started, like that. I'll just put this away upside down so it doesn't get dust in it. So this one I've done again. You can see me how I do these. I've made videos on these just with the silicone and go around and smooth it and then do the water test and all that. So I've done all that and you can watch me do that in another video. So these are 10.5 centimeters by 10.5 centimeters roughly, and hopefully they'll only be about 6 mil deep. I don't want them too thick and chunky. This was one that I made from that was the previous mold that I made. It's a little bit on the thick chunky side. I'd like them to be a little bit more sort of delicate and thin. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll move this out of the way. This is a new mat I've got and I'll tell you about that in a minute. This is the one that I did last week and I made my blanks. I poured the resin in and you need a coaster to make your mold with your liquid silicone. But then when I got my blanks out, and I don't know if you can see this, see that there? See I'm pushing on that and it's going down. This is very thin silicone baking mat. So it's kind of doing like waves. And when I took my blanks out, that edge there, which is now raised, the resin went in and it was raised, so it wasn't flat. So it's a bit hard to explain, but it's doing it in quite a lot of areas. And I just thought, no, I'm not going to waste my time and effort and my money using the liquid silicone, because it's cost me $40 in silicone to make a mold for this. So I thought, no, I'm not going to do it. You could, if you wanted to, go to the trouble of sticking this down onto something. And then it would be nice and flat and you wouldn't have those waves. So you could do that, and I may still do that, but we'll see how this one goes. So this one is a little bit sort of thicker, it's better quality. The only thing is, when you do this with your finger, you can feel the ripples and you can hear, like it's not dead flat. Smooth, I should say. But I don't mind, because this bottom area is going to be the piece. I'll just get it. That bottom area there, the upside, well, the bottom of it, will be flat down onto my tray. So it'll have the sort of rippledy effect down on the tray and you won't see it. And then when you pour the silicone over the top, it'll be the smooth section, which is the top of my coaster here that I pour. That'll be on the bottom of your mold. So I know it sounds probably a little bit confusing. You might not be able to follow what I'm saying, but I'll show you as I go along and you'll understand. So I've got my resin. I'm using the Barnes Clarity. It goes off, it sets like really fast. I'll be able to use these blanks later on today. Some of the other brands, like they're still bendy 24 hours later, and I don't like that. I like them to be nice and hard and set, like, you know, you could take these out and paint them after 12 hours. So I've got my resin. I made up, what did I make up? 150 grams of B and 330 grams of A. And I'm going to just colour it just a touch. Just so that they're not clear. Last time I did clear ones and yeah, it was a bit tricky. I couldn't see like where I'd done top coats and things like that, so I'm just using 3 drops, we'll start with 3 of the Pinata Sapphire alcohol ink, just to give it an ever so slight little tinge of color. Because these are just blanks, as I said, I need the blanks to make my coaster mold. So I'm not going to be putting micas in them and glitter and all that kind of thing. I just want the blanks. Blankety blank. Okay, so that's it there. Now the other thing, if you're thinking, now how do I decide how much to pour into each? Because, you know, you want your coaster molds each to be the same depth. You don't want one at 4 millimeters, one at 6, one at 8, one at 5. You want them all to be the same depth, don't you? Exactly. So what I need to do is I need to weigh. Let me put these over here. I need to weigh my resin. Now I've got 480 grams of resin. I've got 6 coasters. 6 into 480 is 80. So I know that I need to put 80 grams of resin into each of my cups. So I'm going to zero that. And the other thing I've done, when I'm finished using my big pop stick, I just wipe the resin off and then I use it again, because then you don't get air bubbles. You know how you get air bubbles coming out of your timber, your wood? Yeah. So I'm reusing it. Right, now, 80 grams. I think if you go 81 or 79, it's not going to make all that much difference. But try for 80. There we go, 80. Because I zeroed my scale when the cup was on it, every time I take the cup off and put a new cup on, it's going to zero. That's 82. See, it says -5, -4 there. That's what my cup weighs, 4 or 5 grams. So now it's back to 0. And I guess you don't have to weigh it, but I'm a bit of a perfectionist, I guess, a bit OCD with, oh, you're 82 as well. So I just, you know, if you're going to do something, you're going to go to the trouble of doing something, do it properly. Do it to the best of your ability, I say. That's what I say. That's what I tell my kids. Do it to the best of your ability. That's all you can do. If you've tried your best, then that's all you can ask for. That's also 82. They're all going to have 82. Hope I got enough. I have allowed a little bit of space, I guess, to do a flood coat, because if I don't fill these up to the top, that's 81. If I don't fill them up to the top, and I get that little lip, which you get, I may want to do a little flood coat. Whoops, this is not going to end well. I'm not going to have enough here. Some of it's stuck to the side of the jug, you see. I'm going to have to borrow some from all the others. I'm up to 60. I don't know why I'm so short. I guess you do lose a little bit stuck to the side of your cup. All right, so I'm going to just pause that. Actually, no, I won't. I'll keep going. I'll show you what I'm doing. I'm just going to clean my scale off so that I don't get resin on it. Just with my baby wipe. Clean up as you go. All right, so 62. Let's try for 70. I'm going to borrow a little bit from each of them. Okay, you're 70. We'll put you over there. You're 75. This is just going to take me a while to do. You're 75. How did you get to 87? Oh, okay. It's because I didn't, I'm weighing the cup now as well. All right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get them all to about 75 grams and I'll be back. Righto, that took a little bit of time, but it's done. Each cup now weighs 83 grams, including the cup. So I had my scale, I put each cup on. So the cup and what's in it weighs 83 grams on all of them. Make sure that your molds now are completely clean and dust free. I have done this before already with my little bit of masking tape, but just do it again. I mean, I'd spent a little bit more time on it when I did it initially, just to get those little bits of fluff and stuff up. Fluff and stuff. Okay, so now here we go. In the meantime, I wipe down my stick, so it'll dry for the next time. I've got paper towel and I just cleaned out the inside of my jug as well. So we're ready to go next time. Rather do it now before it gets set up. You just wipe it out with the paper towel. Okay, here we go. And I did my water test last night. And I did have a couple of little leaks, which I fixed. Okay, so that's that one done. And it's as easy as that. Just pour your resin in. Make sure your table is really level. I've got a board here that I'm working on, and I've actually got 2 pop sticks at the back there underneath because it was kind of all going that way. So I know that I need to have them there now. It's 2 down. They're pretty full, like 80 grams each was a good measurement on my behalf. Well, probably about 75 grams actually because of the weight of the cup. Actually, know what I say? 83 with the cup. So 78 grams really I've got in each because the cup weighs 5 grams. And then I'm going to torch them. I'm going to cover them with my plastic drawers. I bought this little 2 set of drawers from Bunnings. It's a plastic container. It's got 2 big drawers that slide in and out, and I don't use the actual container, but the drawers are fantastic to cover my work. Because I was looking everywhere in the storage section in Bunnings. I'm thinking, oh, I just need a low container. Like, I don't want something that's a foot high. You know, I just want something that's low, maybe 10 centimeters or 12 centimeters that's low, that'll cover my work. All right, here we go. Last one, and then I'll torch. How we go? We're not leaking anywhere. Got your eyes peeled. Seeing any leaks? If you're going to do this, make sure you do your water test. Otherwise, oh my gosh. Can you imagine the mess if all the resin ran out because you had a leak? So don't skimp. Only takes 5 minutes. Pour a little bit of water in it. Put some food colouring in it. Don't put alcohol ink in it to colour it. I did that my first time. Yeah, that doesn't work. So, and then just pour some in and test it. Make sure you haven't got any leaks. If you have got some leaks, then you can fix it straight away. Just using my little Brulee kitchen torch here. It's only got a little flame, it's not very hot. Now I'm going to make sure I've got no little bits. The other thing you can do around the inside of your coaster is where the bubbles tend to sit. So if you very gently run the flat end of your skewer, which I don't really know that I want to do it because it's pushing my resin out, but you can do that, and the bubbles will come to the surface. So there's 2 there. I might actually do that off camera because I'm going to do it really slowly because I can see the bubbles there. See, there's one there. You just have to go really slowly so that you don't push your resin out over the top of your silicone, but just go around very gently, because the bubbles always want to sit in those little creases in there. And then we've got a few bubbles that have popped up there. I don't know if you can see them. There's one there, there's two there. So, but I'll do that off camera. I'll show you my little drawer that I got. So there's two of these. It's just this drawer, but it's a great size. Look at that. Fantastic. And then, you know, if you decide you don't want to do resin anymore, you've got a little set of drawers. So anyway, I'm going to just play with that, get my bubbles up, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do with the next step once these blanks have set. So it is actually 2 days later now, and I ended up having to do a little very thin flood coat on these guys, because they had, each of them, where I poured the resin into the middle, when it dried, I had this little like oil slick on the top of every single one of them, and I didn't scrape the cups out. I made extra so that I could just pour and not worry about scraping, but it still had this little bit, and I thought maybe it'll be all right, but then I felt it and it was actually rough. So if you've got anything that's on the surface of your coaster, your blank, it's going to be transferred into your mold. So I had to do a flood coat. I just left them in here. So let's get them out, and they will need some sanding, because, you know, this is a homemade mold. I've got my gloves on because I don't want to put any fingerprints on them now that I've gone to all that trouble of making them nice and smooth. And you can see the back, see how it's textured? So that's from this mat here. So obviously you're not going to use the back, but it's actually good because I know which is the back and which is the front now. But we've got a few little areas that sort of gone underneath, little overflow there. So I'm going to be taking these outside to sand them, but look at that. I've got a beautiful, beautiful shiny finish on them. So I'll get them out real quick, and then I need to go and sit outside and sand them very gently. I've got to be so careful that I don't scratch the top. It's not much to do really, it's a little bit on the bottom, but there's not a lot of sanding to be done. And this mold, this homemade mold, it can always be used again. You know, you don't have to go the trouble of pouring the rubber silicone in to make your own mold. You can just do this, but you will, if you use this mat, you will have that textured side. So I don't know if that's something that you'd want or not, probably not, but for the sake of the blank, I'm okay with it. They're probably a little bit thicker than what I wanted because I did the flood coat, but I'll show you in the next step what I'm going to do to hopefully minimize that thickness. I'm going to come around this side so I'm not leaning in front of you. But now, oops, I'm stuck, but now I am in front of the light. So I think these are a better size than my original ones that I made. They're just a little bit smaller. And all of them are beautiful and glossy. Look at that top. So I've got a little bit of work ahead of me. I'm going to go and put my gloves on, my mask, my goggles, my long sleeve PPE jacket, everything, so I don't get any resin dust on me. All right, I'll see you for the next step. Hey guys, I'm back. Now, what I wanted to show you before was, I'll try and explain to you what I'm doing. I've made this square or rectangle that's going to sit my 6 coasters in. And you know, when I did my previous mold, I'll just grab it, that one. when I had my coasters upside down in the tray, I got a bit of leakage through here, which is the top, and then I had to snip them off. And then what happens when you snip them off is you get a bit of a ragged edge, and I didn't want that ragged edge. I wanted a really smooth edge. That's why I'm going to try this with the plasticine and see how it goes. So it's just a block of plasticine, modeling clay. Just don't get the one that says air hardening, because you don't want it to go hard. You want it to stay soft. Now, it did take quite a bit of rolling with my rolling pin, and I finally got it. It's pretty thin. It's just on a piece of non-stick paper so that it doesn't stick to my timber. And I've got it so it fits just underneath my little board there, my little rectangle that I made. And I've got a little arrow so I know which is the flat side, because this is the shop cut edge and that's my knife cut edge. So I know that that's the flat edge there. So what I'm going to do is, and I haven't done this before, so I have no idea if it's going to work. I'm going to push this down into the plasticine like that. I actually put the plasticine in the microwave for 2 minutes to soften it because it was so hard I couldn't roll it out. Okay, so that's stuck down now. I'm going to do it a little bit more. Try not to break my sides though, so I'll just be careful. Just want to push it in. And you know, the other way was fine. It was in the baking tray, just on that contact paper. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can go back and watch that video that I made. But now I shouldn't have to hot glue that, because it's, hopefully, cross fingers, it's stuck down enough. What do you think? Do you think that'll work? It's kind of stuck into the plasticine. So when I pour my silicone rubber, my liquid silicone rubber in, hopefully it sort of being indented into that clay should give me a nice smooth edge and no leaks. Cross fingers. Yeah, I don't want to go too far actually, because I might cut right through it. Now I've got my coasters here that I've sanded nicely, so hopefully they'll be good to go. And the bottom is that textured look, remember? Do you remember that one? So I'm going to put them down. I'm not going to press them down yet. I'm just going to put them in there to make sure that they are all going to fit. And again, I'm going to push those down a little bit so that I don't get the silicone running underneath. Do you know what I mean? Like, I hope I'm explaining it properly for you. That's what I'm going to try and do, just so that I don't get that flow underneath. Because even though they were flat, they weren't totally flat, you know, because they were homemade. So they were a little bit wobbly. Now, if you put them on a bench, you could do this with them. They did move a little bit. So that's why I thought maybe if I do this, I'm just going to make sure I've got an equal amount on each edge there. So just bear with me while I get this right. And I've got it just big enough to fit my coasters with a little bit of room around the sides and the edges. So sort of a finger width. You put a finger all the way through there. Okay, now that I've got them all good, I'm just going to put my gloves on so I don't get any smudges or smears, because if you've got any marks on the top here, when you pour your silicone rubber in, it will pick up those marks. So make sure there's no dust, there's no fingerprints, there's no bits of hair. See, can you see that? See how that's wobbling? It's not totally flat. So if I push down on all of them, I need a big strong man to come and help me. I'm putting all my weight onto it. And push down, and hopefully, I mean, I don't even know if this is indenting or not. I can see the middle's making a bit of a splooge there. You can see the colour. All right, I'm just going to put you on pause. I'm going to go and push a little bit more with my weight and try and get them to sink down a little bit, and I'll be back. If I can get it to go on pause. I pushed it down as hard as I could. You can see the darker blue areas there where it's actually touching. I don't think these edges are touching, but like push down. This is quite hard. The plasticine, it was really, really hard for me to push that down. So yeah, I don't know if it's going to work. I may have to look at getting like a softer type of clay or something, I don't know, but I don't want it to be hard. Like I don't want it to dry hard, otherwise it's too hard to get off. But maybe something like maybe Play-Doh, I might try that, because I can use these blanks again and I can use this box again, so I'll just keep experimenting. Now I have got silicone mold making kit. I just got this off eBay. Part A, part B, you mix them together. And I like the fact that it's white, so that when you do use it as a mold, you know, it's not pink, it's not green, and you can actually see the colors that you're actually pouring into your molds. So let me just move that over. I've got my bowl, and probably a good thing to do when you want to clean your bowl, oh, it's got tape on it. When you want to clean your bowl, is just wait till it's dry, wait till the silicone's dry, and then it should just peel off. Because the last time I did this, I tried to clean wet silicone off, and oh my gosh, it just did not work. I'll take my gloves off, I can't take the lid off. So part A, now this is, the brand is called Silicreate, however you want to pronounce it. Silicreate. So it's either Silicreate or Silicreate, one or the other. And I wanted to keep the containers last time, and I just could not get that silicone out. You know, I tried hot water and soap, and I thought, oh, this is ridiculous, and I couldn't get it out, so I just threw them away. And then I was thinking, well, I could just wait until it dries, and then it should just peel out, shouldn't it? So that's what I'm going to try. So I pretty much got all that out. Let's try the next one. I should have had this all ready for you, shouldn't I? Never mind. 'Tis what it is. So this is what the block of plasticine looks like. I got it up at Officeworks. It's really, really hard. So there's got to be a better option. It nearly killed me rolling it out. As I said, I put it in the microwave to try and warm it up, and then it kind of got a bit sticky. And but yeah, look, there's got to be a better way. And I'm not one to give up. I will continue, press on until I can do it. Look, this might not even work. I probably will still get some leakage because I couldn't press them into the plasticine. I was really hoping that, you know, the edges would press down into the plasticine and I'd get a nice seal and then nothing would go under like what it's done here. But I just don't think that's going to work. Now, I'm going to stir these two together. I'm going to watch the clock and I'm going to stir them for 3 minutes. I'll do that and then I'll come back to you, because you don't want to watch me stir for 3 minutes, do you? Righto, we're all stirred up. There are a few bubbles in the top, but I don't think this is the sort of thing that you can torch, so don't even try. Now what you need to do is pour into a low section and let the silicone cover over and get in all the little nooks and crannies. So don't pour it on top, pour it into your lowest section. All right, here we go. And they say if you pour from up high, it'll break, the bubbles will break a little bit easier. So I'll do that. So each of those jars holds 500 grams. So this is a kilo. I'm going to go over here into this low section too. So 1 kilo. And last time when I did this on my other mold, it only just covered, only just had it enough. But this is a smaller container now, so hopefully I will have enough to go over the whole thing with a little bit thicker on top, because it was quite thin on top last time. Go back over here. Just again pouring into the middle. Hopefully it will just self-level and cover the whole thing. Oh, I hope I haven't got any leaks, because I didn't hot glue around my edges, but I just, you know, as you saw, I just pushed down with my little box I made. This is just like a hollow, I think it's called a core, like a plastic core or something like that. And you get them in big sheets. I just cut them down. It's like, you know, like corrugated cardboard, but it's plastic. And I just got a big sheet from the hardware store. And then just worked out how big I wanted it and cut it down. And look at that, that's covered beautifully. That was much easier than my last one. I don't know whether maybe I poured a little bit too fast. I don't know if it makes any difference to the bubbles or not. I think well, hopefully they'll come up to the surface and just kind of pop. But yeah, don't torch them. Now, hopefully that will just dry and I'll be able to get it off again, because that's my baking bowl. Silicone sticks to silicone, so I am going to have to clean off my silicone cake spatula, because silicone is the only thing that silicone will stick to, so I need to clean that off. What I think I'll do now is I'm just going to go and pop some of these bigger bubbles, because I can. I better not do that. I don't want to risk anything leaking. Nothing's leaking so far around the edges there. Anything on your side? No, we're all good. Okay, so I'm just going to spend a bit of time popping bubbles, the big ones. But hopefully they'll pop on their own, the little ones. And it looks as if it's going to smooth over and level itself. So it's pretty cold today, so it's probably going to take maybe 6 hours to set. What's the time now? 4 p.m. I'll unmold it in the morning. I'll leave it overnight. I already popped you a few times. Must just be keep coming up over there. So I'll put the video on. Well, I'll turn it off. I'll continue popping a few bubbles, and I'll see you in the morning. I'm really not that confident that I'm not going to have leakage underneath the coasters, because as I said, I couldn't push any harder down into this plasticine. It's like, it's rock hard. So there's another bubble. What are you doing? All right, I'm just going to stand here and pop bubbles for a while, and I'll see you guys in the morning. Stay tuned. Hey guys, it's the next day. I was so excited, I couldn't even sleep. I woke up at 4:20 this morning. And I thought, oh, I want to get up and check on it, but I didn't. I went back to sleep for another hour. So here it is. It was really, really cold in the studio last night. We got down to 8 degrees Celsius. So last night I picked up my board and I carefully carried it through into the dog room, because I leave the heater on for the dogs in there at night. So, yeah, I just thought it might not set if it's only 8 degrees. Now, what's going to be the best way to do this? Get out of there. Get out of my silicone. I think what I'll do is I'll start from the back. I'll peel off this baking paper. Like so. And then, now I think I am going to be disappointed with the silicone flowing underneath the coasters. Look, yeah, it has gone under. Okay. So it didn't really, so this made a dent. See, that's made a dent. It sat in nicely, stopped the silicone from flowing. from flowing out, but this hasn't made a dent at all. I just could not push it any harder. But never mind, live and learn. I'll have a look for some more plasticine, something that's a little bit softer that I can actually indent my coaster into. I'm sure it won't be wasted. I'll be able to still use this. But yeah, just a little bit disappointed, I guess, that it hasn't worked the way I was hoping it would. So I'm going to have a lot of bits to cut off, but that's okay. I'm actually going to go to the pharmacy and get myself a cuticle trimmer. It's like a V shape, like that, and you just sort of push it around, and it slices as you go through. So I'm going to go and find one of those today. I think I'll do that. Now, how are we going to get this out? I don't want to break this if I can possibly help it, because I want to reuse it. I want to use it again when I find my plasticine. Oh, look at that. That works. Just pop that out. Woohoo! Yeah, because when I go and find my new plasticine, which means I need to order some more silicone. I only ordered the 1 kilo kit. Okay, it's out and I can reuse it. So that is great. I won't reuse this plasticine. That'll just be wasted money. It's kind of sticky. All right. Now what I need to do is, this is the top of my mold, obviously. So this is the problem I'm going to have. See all these little loose bits here? But anyway, let's get them out without further ado. That's just what I was not wanting, all these little bits that I had to trim, but never mind. It was worth a try, wasn't it? I'll just have to trim them up afterwards. And there's my blank that I can reuse. So that was the smooth side down. That's the rippled edge, that's the top, but the smooth side down gives me that beautiful, smooth, glossy interior. And yeah, I'm not going to trim these now. I'm going to wait until I go and find my cuticle trimmer. What about if I do that? I'll try and break that silicone a little bit. Yeah, needs trimming, that's for sure. All right, but they're popping out really easily. And this mold is the silicone. I've got a much thicker back on this one than I had on my other one. Did you guys see my other one where it was really quite thin on the back? Because I used, well, the coasters were much bigger and I used a bigger tray. So my whole silicone layer was a lot thinner. But it sure is fun to try and experiment. And so I'm going to make sure I put the smooth side up so I can reuse these, because these are nice blanks now. You call these blanks. All right, let's get this out. I'll push on top like that. It's kind of cutting it for me and leaving the silicone on top. I'll be able to just peel that off, see, and then reuse those. So that's not a problem. For when I get I'll go and get my plasticine. I'll order some more of the silicone, and we're gonna do it again, because I am not one to be beaten. I'm going to keep doing this until I get it right. All right, that's the last one out. Alrighty, let's have a little look. I'll bring you in for a little bit of a close-up. Actually, I'm just gonna put you on the side here. So there it is, and you can see these are the little bits I'm talking about that I will need to trim off with my little cuticle trimmer. So I'll do that. And then I'll be ready to pour in it. So exciting! So yay! So it's much thicker this time around because it's a smaller mold. But yeah, really happy with this one. Looking forward to pouring in it. So, and I want to do a navy blue. And I also want to do a red one. All these colors that I want to do. So yeah, I'll spend some time trimming off all my little flaps, so to speak. And then I don't know if I'll show you the finished product again or whether I'll just pour in it. We shall see. Alrighty. Well, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed that. It's a little bit of a tricky thing to do, but yeah, we can do it. I'm sure we can manage. We'll get there. All right. Thanks for watching, you guys. I'll see you for the next video. Bye for now.